Okay, we are continuing with my narration of B2, the keep on the Borderlands, Okay, let's get this up here. Here is the map of the keep, just in case you don't have one available. I mean, you can look one up online very easily, but I'm putting it in the video if you need a source to look at it while we read this. This is going to be about 4.5 pages long. The last two videos were 3.5 pages long, so this will take a little longer. But that's the map. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'll leave that map up. I'll go with the music here, and then we'll just leave the map up. That way you can look at that instead of, well, now let's go with this. This is better. You can pause it and open up a second window if you want that map up. Very easy to do. All right, let's continue now. Areas of the keep. Number 1, main gate. 2 towers 30 feet high with battlements, and there's an asterisk for battlements, in case you want to look up what battlements are, flank a gatehouse 20 feet high. All have holes for bow and crossbow fire. A deep crevice in front of the place is spanned by a drawbridge, usually up. There is a portcullis, and there's an asterisk for portcullis, at the entry and large gates at the far end of the passage. The passage is about 10 feet wide and high, the ceiling above pierced with murder holes, asterisk for murder holes. The walls to either side slitted for archery. It is obvious that this construction is of great blocks of the hardest granite, undoubtedly common throughout the whole fortress. 2 men-at-arms will appear when the drawbridge is lowered and the portcullis raised. Each is clad in plate mail and carries a polearm, asterisk for polearm, which will strike the first blow when used against a charging foe. Dex 18, AC 3, level 0, hit points 5 each. Attack, half, number of attacks, 1/2, okay. Damage 1d6. They require that persons entering the keep put their weapons away, and then will escort them through the short tunnel into Area 3. And I find it really interesting back in these back in the old days of D&D, they didn't give you any more information than that on the characters. You didn't have their names and all other kinds of information because you didn't need it. That was all you needed. You just needed a brief description. The dungeon master can fill in more details if he wants to personalize everything. And I think that was really smart of Gary to do it that way. All right, number 2, flanking towers, area 2, I should say. Atop each tower are 4 crossbowmen with heavy crossbows cocked and ready to fire. Each is clad in chain, AC 5, wearing a sword and dagger, and has a shield, AC 4 when picked up nearby. Dex 12, level 0. See, I don't know what the need for Dex 12 is, but okay. Yeah, that's odd. Why do you even need it? Level 0, hit points 4 each. Number of attacks, 1/4 with heavy crossbow, D6. Wow, 1 attack every 4 rounds, that's it. Okay. Inside, I guess it takes a while to load that thing. Inside each tower are 12 other men-at-arms, 4 being on duty, in quotes, and armored and armed as the men-at-arms on the tower tops. The other 8 in the tower are resting, and it will take 1 full turn for these men to ready themselves for battle. They are exactly like the others, except instead of heavy crossbows, they carry regular bows. Dexterity 14, armor class 4, level 0, hit points 4, attack 1, number of attacks 1, damage 1 to 6. The 3 floors of these towers will contain supplies of bolts and arrows, spears, rocks, and several barrels of oil, all for hurling down on attackers. There will also be pallets, asterisk for pallets, for sleeping, pegs with clothing belonging to the soldiers, and some small tables, stools, and benches. Each man-at-arms will have D6 copper pieces and D4 silver pieces on his person. Area 3, Entry Yard. This narrow place is paved. All entrants, save those of the garrison, will be required to dismount and stable their animals. Area 4, below. The corporal of the watch is here. He is dressed in plate mail and carries a shield, armor class 2, with sword and dagger at his waist. Dex 16. That confuses me. Dex 16. If he's got plate and shield, that would be okay. Armor class would be 0 then. So I'm not sure why it says Dex 16. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. Armor class 2, level 2 fighter, hit points 15, and his sword is a +1 magic weapon. Interesting. The corporal is rather grouchy and abrasive, with a low charisma, but he admires outspoken brave fighters and is easily taken in by a pretty girl. Beside him is a man in robes, a scribe, who records the name of each person who enters or leaves, and flanking each man is another man-at-arms in plate with polearms as noted in Area 1 above. Dex 18. I've got to check something here because that seems kind of odd. But dexterity equals DX, so okay. DX 18, AC 3, level 0, hit points 5 each, number of attacks 1/2, damage 1d6. When dismounted, lackeys, asterisk for lackeys, will come from Area 4, the stable, to take the mounts. Any goods which are not carried by entrants will be stored in Area 5, the warehouse. Another lackey will then show entrance to the traveler's inn. Area 4, common stable. This long building is about 15 feet high with a 3-foot parapet, and there's an asterisk for that word, atop its flat roof, so that it can be used in defense of the gate. The gate side wall is pierced for archery. There are always 5 to 8 D4 plus 4 lackeys inside, tending to horses and gear. Each is unarmored, AC 9, but can fight with various available weapons, pitchforks and the like. Treat as polearms, and each has 1 to 4 hit points. 1 to 4 hit points. Wow. Yeah, I don't think anything should have 1 or 2 hit points. I think 3 should be the bare minimum, or even 4. That's just me, though. Dexterity rolled at random. Okay, that's another odd thing to say. Why not just give them a 12? I don't know. There will be various light and draft horses here, 2 to 8 of each, and mules as well, but only 1 to 6 mules. Make sure it's 1 to 6 mules and not 2 to 8 mules. Okay. Area 5, common warehouse. Visiting merchants and other travelers who have quantities of goods are required to keep their materials here until they are either sold to the persons at the keep or taken elsewhere. The building is the same as the stable, Area 4 above, with respect to height, parapet, etc. Its double doors are chained and padlocked, and the corporal of the watch must be called to gain entry, as he has the keys. Inside are 2 wagons, a cart, many boxes, barrels, and bales, various food items, cloth, arrows, bolts, salt, and 2 tons, T-U-N-S, of wine. And there's an asterisk for tons. I don't know how you pronounce that. Average value is 100 gold pieces per wagon load. Area 6, Bailiff's Tower. The superintendent, or bailiff, of the outer bailey of the fortress is quartered here. Dexterity DX 14, AC 2, level 3 fighter, Hit points 22. He is wearing +1 plate mail, wields a +1 magic sword. I also find it odd that there are already 3 magical items in this keep from just 6 areas. That's a little much for me. I think magic should be a little rarer than that. And is also able to use a longbow, which is hanging on the wall. Well, I hope he can use a longbow. He's a 3rd level fighter, but okay. He and the scribe share offices on the lower floor. Their quarters are on the 2nd story. Usual furnishings of bed, chest, armoire, an asterisk for an armoire, table, chairs, rug, etc. The bailiff has 3d6 gold pieces with him always. Oh, I guess that sounds rich. It's not, but okay. If they used the silver standard, that would be a good amount of money. Basically, times by 10. The scribe has 2d6 silver pieces and d4 gold pieces in his purse, so a lot less. There are 50 gold pieces hidden in the bailiff's old boots in the armoire, and hanging on his wall is a quiver with 20 arrows, 3 of which are +1 magic shafts. +1 magic shafts. Just say +1 magic arrows. The scribe has a jeweled ink pot worth 100 gold pieces, but it is dirty and ink covered, looks worthless, and is on his table in plain sight. The 3rd floor is a storage area. See, I like little notes like that. You've got this valuable thing, but it doesn't look valuable, and it's just sitting there on the desk. It's kind of a neat thing. The 3rd floor is a storage area, and the 4th story quarters 12 men-at-arms. 6 are armored in leather and shield, AC 6, with polearm and axe. The other 6 have chainmail, AC 5, light crossbow, and sword, and light crossbow and sword, and serve as the escort of the bailiff from time to time. DX 10, level 0, hit points 4, and each carries 2d6 copper pieces. So in other words, they're broke. And 1d6 silver pieces. Okay, so they're almost broke. Their room, I mean, if you're using the gold standard, you realize how little that is? It's 20 silver pieces equals a gold piece in D&D, 1st edition. I'm assuming that's the same in basic. 20 silver equals 1 gold, and these guys have 1d6 silver pieces. That's nothing. Their room contains pallets, pegs with cloaks and other clothing. 2 long tables with benches, a supply of 180 bolts, and several dozen large rocks. The whole tower is 40 feet high, with a 5-foot crenellated battlement atop it. Crenellated has an asterisk. All walls are pierced for archery. So one thing I did is I went to a silver standard, and then all of a sudden these amounts were a little bit more reasonable for me. That's just what I did. And 10 silver equals 1 gold, and 10 copper equals a silver. And so for me, a silver piece is equivalent to a gold piece if you convert to a silver standard. And now gold is very valuable, and it just made more sense for me. Okay, Area 7 are the private apartments. Special quarters are available for well-to-do families, rich merchants, guildmasters, and the like. The 5 small apartments along the south wall are occupied by families of persons dwelling within the outer bailey of the keep. The two large ones, indicated by 7A and 7B, currently house a jewel merchant and a priest. And we get details for those. 7A, jewel merchant. The normal man and his wife are guarded by a pair of 2nd-level fighters in chainmail and shield with sword and dagger. DX 13, AC 4, level 2, hit points 17 and 12. So the jeweler, oh no, those are the I'm thinking those are the jeweler and his wife. My mistake. Okay, the 4 are lodged in the eastern portion of the building, the merchant and his wife being in the upper floor most of the time. Each guard commands a huge dog trained to kill. Now that I like. Dex 9, AC 6. 9 dexterity for a dog? Come on. Hit dice 3, hit points 12 and 11. 1 attack, doing 1d6. The merchant has a locked iron box with 200 platinum pieces and 100 gold pieces inside. Secreted, I guess that's the word, in his belt are 10 gems of 100 gold piece value each. Jeez, this guy's got money. He will buy gems at 60 to 90% D4 times 10 plus 50% of value. He sells at 110 to 140% D4 times 10 plus 100 of value. His wife wears a jeweled bracelet, necklace, and earrings valued at 600, 1200, and 300 gold pieces, respectively. Also available for sale as per gems. They are awaiting a caravan back to the realm. All persons here have 3d6 silver pieces each upon their person. The apartment is well furnished, but there is nothing of particular interest or value, except for the coins, gems, and jewelry noted. And then 7b, the priest. The western portion houses the jovial priest, who is taking advantage of his stopover at the keep to discuss theology with learned folk and to convert others. Everyone speaks well of him, although the 2 acolytes with him are avoided as they never speak. The priest says they must follow vows of silence until they attain priestly standing. His well-appointed chambers are comfortably furnished, and guests are always welcomed with a cozy fire and plenty of ale or wine. The priest is a very fine companion and an excellent listener. He does not press his religious beliefs upon any unwilling person. He is outspoken in his hatred of evil, and if approached by a party of adventurers seeking the caves of chaos, he will certainly accompany them. He has +1 magic plate armor and a +1 shield. Now this magic I can accept. He's a 3rd level cleric. So his armor class is 0. That's tough. And a +1 warhammer, and has a dexterity of 15. So shouldn't his armor class be -1? Anyway. He also has a magic cleric scroll with a hold person and a silence 15-foot radius spell on it. He appears very robust, 18 hit points, as do his assistants. The latter wear chain, carry shields, and have maces. Dex 12, AC 4, level 1 clerics. Hit points, 7 each. Now see, that's a good amount of hit points for a cleric. So I got 7 out of 8. So that makes more sense to me. Well, imagine if they only had 2. That's the thing I don't like about the 1st level rolling for hit points. Note, all are chaotic and evil, being in the keep to spy and defeat those seeking to gain experience by challenging the monsters in the caves of chaos. Once in the caves, the priests will use a cause light wounds or a darkness spell as needed to hinder and harm adventurers. Betrayal will always occur during a crucial encounter with monsters. As if the caves of chaos weren't tough enough, now you got to take on a 3rd level priest with 2 clerics helping the monsters. This is really dangerous. Each cleric carries 4d6 silver pieces, and each wears a gold chain worth 100 gold pieces. The priest has a bloodstone gem worth 500 gold pieces in addition. A small sack hidden in the priest's chair contains 30 each of platinum, gold, electrum, silver, and copper pieces. A small sack hidden in a chair. Okay. Plus 1 jeweled clasp worth 300 gold pieces. These are for bribes, for subversion, or to use to gain freedom if necessary. All right. Smithy, area 8. Smithy and armorer. This building is about 20 feet high, with the usual 5-foot parapet above and walls pierced for defense. The lower floor is occupied by a large bellows and other items. Here, horses and mules are shod, weapons made, armor repaired, and similar work done. The smith is also an armorer and has 2 assistants. Smith, dexterity 14, armor class 7 from leather armor, level 1 fighter, hit points 11. He uses his hammer as a weapon. Assistants, Dex 13, AC 9, level 0, hit points 5 each. They will pick up any weapons handy if need be. There are 2 swords, 1 mace, a suit of man-sized chainmail, and 11 finished spears in the shop. In the 2nd story are rooms where the smith, his family, and his assistants live. Normal furnishings, but a jar in the smith's bedchamber holds 27 electrum pieces. The smith carries D4 gold pieces and each assistant has 2d6 silver pieces. Area 9, Provisioner. This low building houses a shop where all of the equipment needed for dungeon adventures, as listed in the rulebook, are sold. Obvious exceptions are wagons, boats, and large or unusual items such as items for such a place as an outpost. He does not sell weapons other than spears, daggers, arrows, and bolts. He has a few 7 shields, but does not sell armor or mounts. He will direct any persons interested in such items to the trader next door. Prices are as shown in the rules. He will buy the equipment from adventurers at 50% of listed price. The provisioner is a normal man. In time of need, he has leather armor and shield, AC 6, and will man the walls or otherwise fight with a spear. Dex 8, AC 9. See, I'm not sure why these random dex numbers. I don't fully understand why he's doing that. Because none of that matters. If the bonus or penalty is 0, and it is for most of these numbers. AC 9, level 0, hit points 3. His wife and 2 children live in a small apartment in the place. He carries D6 gold pieces. He has a strong box with 100 gold pieces, 16 electrum pieces, and 30 copper pieces. And most of this stuff really, you don't need to know this. It's not like the party is going to be killing these people and searching through this stuff and stealing. But I think it's just there for flavor. I can't, unless you want to play evil characters and try to, sneak in here and start killing people. I guess you could do an adventure like that. Area 10, Trader. This place deals in all armor, weapons, mounts, kept at the stable, area 4 above, and large quantities of goods, such as salt, spices, cloth, rare woods, etc. The trader is very interested in obtaining furs. Prices are as per the rulebook. Purchases from adventurers are at 50% of listed cost, except for furs, which will be bought by him at whatever their stated value is, if the seller demands. He is a normal man, Dex 9, AC 9, level 0, hit points 2. His 2 sons are likewise Dexterity 10, AC 9, level 0, hit points 3 each. Yikes. So I would change those. All have leather armor and shields, AC 6, and pole arms and swords for use when necessary. Hidden under the floorboards of their small apartment are 500 gold pieces and 1,110 silver pieces. Each carries 2d6 gold pieces in his purse. So, quite a nice haul there. Area 11, Loan Bank. Here, anyone can change money or gems for a 10% fee. The banker will also keep a person's wealth stored somewhat safely at no charge if it is left for at least 1 month. I find it odd that it's no charge. That's a little odd for me. I guess he benefits from having the money around. I don't know. Otherwise, there is a 10% fee if they don't keep it for at least store it for at least a month. Loans at an interest rate of 10% per month can be obtained for up to 5 gold pieces with no security deposit. Over 5 gold pieces requires some item of at least twice the value of the loan. A sign on the shop states clearly that this place is under direct protection of the keep, and there is always a man-at-arms in chainmail with bow and sword watching the place from Tower 12. Dex 10, AC 5, level 0, hit points 4. Okay, so a man-at-arms with hit points 4. I'd make that at least 6. The banker is a retired 3rd level fighter. Dexterity 14, hit points 12, with a sword handy and plate and shield stored in his apartment above. He carries 6 platinum pieces and 12 gold pieces with him. There is a scrawny old clerk in the place as well. 2nd level magic user, 5 hit points with sleep and ventriloquism. Watch out. Ventriloquism, I guess he could have fun with that in this place. And ventriloquism spells ready, who typically handles transactions. A hired mercenary fighter, Dex 9, AC 3, level 0, hit point 7, in plate mail and armed with axe and light crossbow, is on guard inside the door. Displayed for sale are the following items. 1 carved ivory tusk, price 50 gold pieces. Now, most of these items no one's going to buy, but again, this does add a nice little flavor to have these items that the players see for sale. Maybe they would buy them out of curiosity at some point if they ever, find a lot of treasure. 1 silver cup, 20 gold pieces. 1 crystal decanter has an asterisk, price 45 gold pieces. Actual worth is only 10 gold pieces. Interesting. 1 jade ring, price 250 gold pieces. Actual worth is 400 gold pieces. So here's an underpriced item. 1 dagger with jeweled scabbard, price 600 gold pieces. Is a player character really going to buy some dagger with a jeweled scabbard? I don't think so. 1 fur-trimmed cape, price 75 gold pieces. 3 blank vellum books. Vellum has an asterisk. Price 20 gold pieces each. And just as a reminder, I'm pointing out the asterisk because everything with an asterisk is listed in a glossary at the end of the module so that you can look these words up if you want to know what they mean. I think it's a nice thing that he did. 1 gold and silver belt, price 90 gold pieces. 1 set of thief's tools, price 100 gold pieces. Actual worth 35 gold pieces. That's an odd thing to say, that he's trying to get 100 gold pieces for something everybody knows is only worth, I think it's only worth 30, but it says 35. 1 iron box with secret lock, price 50 gold pieces. And there's a little picture on the module on page 9 in the lower right corner showing some of these things, so it's kind of neat. But there's more. The strong room of the place is in the cellar. It is protected by a locked iron door which leads to a small vault with 12 compartments, each protected by locks with hidden poison needles. Save versus poison at +1 or die. These compartments hold the following items. And again, no one is going to explore this place, I guess, unless you're playing evil characters or there's something that happens that would make players go through this stuff. But all this is listed, and it's probably never going to be used. We never used it. I'm curious if any of you ever did. So here are the compartments. Number 1, number 4, and number 11 are empty. Number 2, these are a locked iron door which leads to a small vault with 12 compartments protected by locks with hidden poison needles. All right, number 2 has 277 gold pieces and 1 gem worth 500 gold pieces. Number 3 has a gold altar service set worth 6,000 gold pieces. Number 5 is trapped with a sleeping gas. No save. Sleep for 3 turns. Characters above 4th level save versus poison to avoid effect. Number 6 has 1,000 each platinum, gold, electrum, silver, and copper pieces. Number 7 has 4 poisonous adders. Dex 15, AC 5 due to small size and great speed. Hit dice 1+1. Hit points 5. Attack 1. Each can bite for 1 hit point of damage and save versus poison at +2 or die. Number 8 has 3 gems of 1,000 gold piece value, 4 of 500 gold piece value, 11 of 100 gold piece value, 25 of 50 gold piece value, and 18 of 10 gold piece value. Number 9 has an arrow trap, which will always hit anyone in front of its door. 4 arrows each, doing 1 to 6 points of damage. Divide arrows amongst persons in front. Number 10 has an alabaster and gold statue worth 3,000 gold pieces in a rare wood and silk case worth 600 gold pieces. That's kind of neat. Number 12 has a sack with 58 platinum pieces and 91 electrum pieces in it. Empty compartments indicate funds out on loan. Bold-faced numbers are those belonging to the banker, and that would be 6 and 8. Okay, Area 12, Watchtower. This 45-foot tall tower has all of the usual defensive devices. It houses 6 men-at-arms in chain, AC 5, with bows and swords, 6 others in leather and carrying shields, AC 6, and polearms, Dex 10, level 0, hit points 4 each, and the Captain of the Watch, Dex 15, AC 2, level 3 fighter, hit points 20. He has a +1 flaming sword and a +1 dagger. I want to know where he got him from. That would be my first question. But I don't mind these guys have somebody up high has a rank has a magic item, but It's still odd. The captain dwells on the first floor with the usual furnishings, but he has a silver flagon and tankard worth 750 gold pieces. He is known to carry quite a bit of money with him: 20 platinum pieces, this is on his person, 11 gold pieces, 8 silver pieces. Although the soldiers have only small coins, 2d6 silver pieces each. The second and third floors are barracks for the men-at-arms. The upper story holds a supply of 200 arrows, many rocks, 2 barrels of oil, and 24 spears. To which I'm going to say only 2 barrels of oil? I would have like 20, but okay. Area 13 is the Fountain Square. This is my favorite place of the keep. This is a large, gushing fountain in the center of the square. On holidays, I'm just say every day pretty much, local farmers and tradesmen set up small booths to sell their goods in this place. See, I just changed that from holidays to every day. This is where most people hang out and sell their wares, and even some of these stores might have a booth in the Fountain Square. Area 14, Traveler's Inn. This long, low structure, very little told about the Traveler's Inn here. It's a small paragraph. This long, low structure has 5 small private rooms and a large common sleeping room for a full dozen. Servants and the like always sleep in the stables, area 4, of course. Private rooms, and it says, of course, that wasn't me. Private rooms cost 1 gold piece per night, but sleeping in the common room is only 1 silver piece per night. The innkeeper and his family live in a small loft above the inn. They are obviously normal persons of no fighting ability. This building is some 18 feet high. So I would take more time and make this a little bit bigger. I think 5 small private rooms is not enough to run an inn, let alone the large common room. I would make more. I would do possibly as many as 12 private rooms. Who knows? And maybe 2 large common rooms, because don't you want to make more money? I think it would make more sense, but that's just me. Area 15, the tavern. Okay, a lot here. This place is the favorite of visitors and regulars alike. The food is excellent, the drinks generous and good. The place is always active with 4 to 16, 44 patrons at any time of day or night. The bill of fare reads, and that's a little bit oversimplified. I think it would be more busy at night than during the day, but okay. The bill of fare reads: ale, 1 electrum piece; small beer, 1 silver piece; wine, 1 electrum piece; honey mead, 1 gold piece. So honey mead is worth more than wine, okay. Bark tea, 1 silver piece; bread, 1 copper piece per slice. Boy, the bread isn't free? Come on. Pudding, 1 silver piece per bowl of pudding. Soup, 1 silver piece. Stew, 1 electrum piece. Roast fowl, 1 gold piece. Roast joint, 2 gold pieces. Hot pie, 1 electrum piece. Cheese, 1 silver piece per wedge. And fruit, 1 silver piece. Interesting little menu. I could easily expand on that and make it a little bit more, even more interesting. The barkeep, if talking with a good customer and drinking to his health, will sometimes talk about the lands around the keep. 1 drink per story, half of which may be true. He is known to hate small beer and love honey mead. It is small beer. Okay. There is a 50% chance that 2 to 5, D4 plus 1, of the patrons will be mercenary men-at-arms looking for work. Dex 11, AC 6, level 0, hit points 5 each. Those are decent numbers, I think. Each will have leather armor and shield, and sword and dagger. All other desired equipment must be purchased by the employer, including missile weapons, mounts, and dungeon gear. Wages for dangerous duty include all gear purchased, room and board, and 1 silver piece per day of service. If no gear is purchased, the cost rises to 1 gold piece per day. Okay, that's 20 times more expensive. I'm assuming basic does 20 silver for 1 gold. Note that a mere spear or minor equipment is considered as no gear. You can't just give them something like that. It is always necessary to buy mercenaries a drink before discussing terms of employment. There is a 10% chance that each of the following persons will be in the tavern at any given time. 10% chance: corporal of the watch, captain of the watch, bailiff, see area 6 above, priest from 7b, 2 to 4 watchmen, see area 12 above, sergeant of the guard, see 18 below, wanderer, a second or third level fighter, human, dwarf, elf, or halfling as the DM decides, with complete equipment for adventuring. Such a wanderer is 75% likely to join an expedition. If offered, 25% of the treasure gained, but 1 in 6 will be of evil intent and alignment. Ooh, that's 25%. I think we would go with an equal share. I don't think anyone's going to give you 25%, unless, of course, the party is only 3 people. Okay. The taverner is a normal man, Dex 13. Again, why do I need to know his Dex 13 versus 10? There's no difference. AC 9, level 0, hit point 6. As are his son and the pot boy. Pot boy has an asterisk. Dex 10, AC 9, level 0, hit points 5 and 2. Yikes. But in time of need, they will don leather armor, carry shields, armor class 6 instead of 9, and bear arms against attackers. The place is also served by his wife, daughter, a serving wench, and a scullion. Asterisk for scullion. I don't know what a scullion is. I have to look that up. The owner and his son each have 2d6 gold pieces in their purses. The wife, d6. All others, 2d6 coppers. The cellar is where drink and food are stored and prepared, and where the servants sleep. The family sleeps in the small loft. Hidden in an old crock under empty flour bags in the back room are 82 copper pieces, 29 silver pieces, 40 electrum pieces, and 17 gold pieces. So not that much. Area 16, the guild house. When members of any guild, merchants, craft, artisans, etc., travel to this area, they are offered the hospitality of this 2-story building. This is a fee collection and administrative post, and the staff is careful to observe what traffic passes through the keep. Any trader who passes through must pay guild dues of 5% of the value of his merchandise, but he then gains the protection of the guild house, assuming he is not a regular member. Craftsmen and artisans must gain guild permission to enter or leave the land, paying a fee of 2d6 gold pieces either way, sheesh, depending on the value of their trade. The lower floor contains the guildmaster's and his 2 clerks' quarters and an office, all sparsely furnished, but the master has a gold ring worth 50 gold pieces and 2d6 gold pieces. In his purse, each clerk has d4 each of gold, silver, and copper pieces. A strongbox under the master's bed holds 712 gold pieces. That's a lot. They are normal men, Dex 12, AC 9, level 0, hit points 4 each, with chainmail, armor class 5. Crossbows and swords kept in a closet for quick use. There are 2 non-combatant servants who have quarters in the cellar. The upper floor is divided into 2 private rooms and a dormitory for guests. The master is very influential, and his favor or dislike will be reflected in the treatment of persons by fortress personnel. 4 men-at-arms with leather armor and shields and armed with spear and sword are on duty at all times, 2 on the first floor, 2 above. Dex 14, AC 6, level 0, hit point 6 each. They are fanatical guildsmen who will obey any order from the master. Guests of the guild eat here. Drinking is frowned upon. We never did anything with the guild house. Anybody do stuff with the guild house? I'd love to hear it. Area 17, chapel. The spiritual center of the keep is opposite the guild house. This building has a peaked roof, 2 stories tall. The interior is 1 large room. The altar is located at the western end with a colored glass window worth 350 gold pieces intact above it. The window is 20 feet tall and 8 feet wide. Wow. An offering box is fastened securely atop a heavy pedestal in the southeast corner. It contains 1 to 100 copper pieces and 1 to 100 silver pieces at any time of the day. It is emptied each evening by the curate, who deposits the coins with the banker, number area 11 above. A small stairway in the northwest corner behind the bare wooden pews lead to the cellar where the curate and his 3 assistants have their quarters. The curate, 5th level cleric, is the most influential person in the keep, except for the castellan, area 26 below. He has a +1 to hit due to his high level, dexterity 13, 24 hit points, +1 magic plate armor, normal shield, and a +1 ring of protection, giving him an armor class of 0, even though in the advanced D&D you can't combine magic armor with magic rings. Maybe in basic that's not the case. He wields a +1 magic mace or a snake staff, +1 to hit, 1d6 plus 1 point of damage per hit. On command it will coil around the person hit, rendering him helpless until the curate releases him, or for 1 to 4 turns. It will crawl back to the curate on command. He rarely wears his armor unless the keep is threatened, but is never without his ring and staff. His 3 acolytes, 1st level clerics, hit points 6, 5, 5, dexterity 15, 13, and 12 respectively. Oh yeah, thanks for letting me know that, because that's important. Have plate and shield, AC 2, and mace. They are normally clothed in robes, AC 9, but will arm for battle on command of the curate. I really don't get his need to tell everybody's dexterity. It's about as important as telling me their intelligence. Unless that dexterity is affecting their armor class, which he doesn't have it do that, even when it says dexterity 15, which I don't know if that was just a mistake on his part or what. The curate normally carries the following spells: Cure Light Wounds, Detect Magic, Bless, Hold Person. He will only use the cure on a member of his church, such as an officer of the guard or a shopkeeper. So 5th level in basic does not get 3rd level spells, it would appear. Wow, he does not seem that powerful. All of the cleric's armor and weapons are stored in the curate's locked room in the chapel cellar, which has normal but sparse furnishings. The chapel also owns many magic potions, 3 of healing, 1 of haste, 1 of flying. Okay, that's 5, but I wouldn't say many. And a magic scroll with 1 cure disease, 1 hold person, and 3 cure light wound spells on it. Again, I would give them more. I would totally add to this area and really expand on it. All of these magic items are hidden in a secret compartment underneath the offering box pedestal. The door of the compartment cannot be found unless the pedestal is moved. The door has 2 locks in it. The curate and the castellan have the only sets of keys. If questioned closely by a friend, the curate might, 50% of the time, reveal his distrust of the priest at 7B above, who visits the keep regularly. The acolytes, however, think very highly of the priest, and will say so to any who ask about him. Area 18, Inner Gatehouse. This stone structure is itself like a small fort. The southern portion is only about 15 feet high plus battlement. The rear part is some 30 feet tall plus battlement. There are arrow slits in the southern section, of course, and along the walls of the 20-foot wide, 10-foot high passage through to the north. This passage slopes upwards towards the inner courtyard. The heavy gates are double bound with iron and spiked. There are 6 guards on duty at all times, 2 inside the gateway, 2 on the lower battlement, 2 on the upper, plus one officer on call, see below. No visitor is allowed beyond this point except by invitation, or unless he or she has special permits. Where was I? Okay. The first floor of the place is the main armory. There are dozens of shields and of each sort of weapon. 2 small rooms are quarters for the sergeant and captain of the guard. Furnishings are sparse. The second story on the north houses the guardsmen stationed here. Captain of the guard. Dex 816. Armor class 0 from +1 plate armor and +1 shield. So again, the dex isn't doing anything. Level 3 fighter, hit points 24, +1 spear and +2 sword. That's our first +2 weapon, or magic item, I should say. This man is very personable, and an excellent leader and tactician. He will sometimes move about in the outer bailey disguised as a mercenary. He has 15 gold pieces and a 100 gold piece gem in the pommel of his dagger, Pommel has an asterisk. And come on, the captain of the guard only has 15 gold pieces? Give me a break. He'd have way more than that. Sergeant of the guard, Dex 14, AC 2 from Chainmail with Magic Shield +1 and Ring of Protection +1. Level 2 fighter, hit points 18, +1 sword, +2 dagger. This very strong fellow, strength 17, is a hard fighter and loves to drink and brawl. He carries D6 each of gold, electrum, and silver pieces. There is a potion of healing in a chest in his room under a spare cape. Guardsmen. Okay. There are 24 quartered here. Each has chainmail and shield, sword, dagger, and throwing axe. 8 are crossbowmen, 8 are bowmen, and 8 have polearms. Dex, usually 10. AC 4, level 0. I love that. Dex, usually 10. Hit points 5 each. 2 from each group are on duty at any given time. The rest take a full turn to armor and arm and turn out. Each has 2d6 silver pieces. I'm also trying to figure out how the keep is able to pay all these people. There has to be taxes, there has to be fees. The market square would be paying, you'd be renting out spaces. There has to be ways to generate enough income to pay all these people, because it's a lot. But I think this would make for an excellent adventure, just the keep. I think there's a lot you could do here. Area 19, small tower. This typical tower houses 8 guardsmen, who are all armored in chainmail, AC 5, and carry crossbows and swords. Shields are stored below, so in hand-to-hand combat they are AC 4. Dex, usually 10, level 0, hit points 5, 2d6 silver pieces each. 2 are on duty atop the tower at all times. The other 6 are in the chamber below. The base is solid except for the small stair up. Area 20, guard tower. This 50-foot high structure houses 24 guardsmen, so there's 24 more people that have to get paid, as in 18 above. Their commander is the corporal of the guard, Dex 15, AC 2 from plate and shield, level 1, hit points 9, sword, and +1 dagger. There are supplies of food, weapons, and oil on the upper floor. The rest of the building is taken up with barracks and a room for the leader. See, I would be more interested in the supplies that are here, more so than their personal stuff that they have. You could easily make what you want them to have. I would think he should have spent more time with that. There are supplies of food, weapons, and oil on the upper floor. I would go into more detail there. Area 21, Inner Bailey. This entire area is grass covered. That's the huge area in the back of the castle. The troops drill here, and there are practice and jousting areas. During the daylight hours, there will always be a dozen or more soldiers engaged in weapons practice. 22, cavalry stables. There are 12 heavy war horses. 12, that's a lot. And 18 medium war horses kept within. Sheesh. They are tended by 2 lackeys. Here's 30 horses, guys. Tend to them. Okay. Dex 9, AC 9, level 0, hit points 2. The lackeys have 2 hit points. Don't hit them, they might die. And guarded by 2 men-at-arms with chainmail and shield, sword and dagger. Dex 11, AC 4, level 0, hit points 4 each. Those are the men guarding those guys. Okay, they got 4 hit points, watch out. In addition, there are always from 1 to 4 light horses kept here for use by couriers or messengers. Just 1 to 4? Okay. Anyway, Area 23, Great Tower. This 60-foot high structure houses 24 guardsmen. We just added another 24. 1/3 with crossbows, 1/3 with bows, 1/3 with polearms. Dex usually 10, AC 4, level 0, hit points 5 each, and another corporal, as per 20 above. See 20 for tower details, and so on. Area 24, the Keep Fortress. This place has many tiers and is solidly built to withstand a siege. The lowest level consists of a 15-foot high front section. The round flanking towers are 60 feet high, while the main building is 30 feet high. All sections have battlements. The door is solid iron, Inside are a great hall, an armory for the cavalry, and several side chambers for small dinners or meetings. The cellars below have vast stores of provisions, quarters for a score of servants, a cistern, asterisk for the cistern, and a dungeon area with 4 stout cells. The castellan, and you get an asterisk for the castellan finally, resides in area number 27, see below. But he and his assistants will be in the lower part of the place during the day, tending to business and holding audience. There will always be 8 guardsmen in plate, AC3, with crossbows and swords on duty on the walls, and a like number with plate and shield, AC2, and swords stationed inside. Dex 12, level 0, hit points 5 each. The whole place is well appointed, and the furniture is heavy and upholstered. Second floor. There are rooms here for up to 36 cavalrymen, plus 2 chambers for special guests. There are 12 heavy cavalrymen with plate and shield and sword and dagger. Dex 12, AC 2, level 1, hit points 8 each. Plate and shield, AC 2, okay. Lances are stored below. There are also 18 medium cavalrymen in chainmail, each with light crossbow and axe quartered here. Dex 11, so their dex is all 1 point lower than the other guys who have a 12. See, I don't get it. I know I keep saying that, but it's very confusing to me. AC 5, level 0, hit points 6 each, and each has 2d6 gold pieces. So again, out of randomly, he states that these guys have 2d6 gold pieces. It's just bizarre. Their rooms are Spartan, with cot, chair, and armoire. I think he already said the armoire has an asterisk, but he puts it again, for each. 2 couriers, men-at-arms, with leather armor and swords, are currently quartered in one side chamber. They have a 16 dex. What? AC 7, level 0, 3 hit points each. I'm so confused. Area 25, tower. Each is 40 feet high with battlements and pierced with arrow slits to cover the east and west corner areas. The fortress men-at-arms are housed in these structures and in the towers indicated by 26. 26 central towers. These structures rise 20 feet above the roof of the fortress with a 5-foot battlement above their roof. Their 2 upper stories house 12 men-at-arms, 6 in plate, AC 3, with crossbow and sword, 6 in plate and shield, AC 2, with sword. Dex 12, level 0, hit points 5 each, who are off duty. It will take 1 turn for them to be ready for battle. In the 2 lower floors are the Castellan's assistants. Scribe. This individual is a 2nd level cleric, armored in plate and shield. A scribe with plate and shield with a mace. Dex 9, AC 2, level 2, hit points 11. He has a hold person spell on a scroll. On a scroll. On a scroll he carries. His own spell is light, so he's not a scribe, he's a cleric. His own spell is light, which he may cast on an opponent's eyes to blind him. Okay. His chamber is austere, so you see the problem with that, and we used to do that. We realized then that light spell is effectively the same as the 3rd level spell Cause Blindness. And we realized that was silly, so we stopped doing that. His chamber is austere, and there is nothing of value within except a gold holy symbol worth 150 gold pieces. Wow. He has 48 gold pieces in his purse. Holy symbols are worth like 2 gold pieces. So that's pretty wild. Advisor. This individual is an elf who speaks, finally some non-human here. He's probably the only one in the whole place. This individual is an elf who speaks, other than the visitors, of course, who speaks 8 languages. He is a fighter magic user of 3rd level, dexterity 16, AC 2 from +1 plate mail, hit points 18, sword, plus sword and a +1 magic bow, and a ring of fire resistance. His spells are charm person, read magic, and web. Tapestries and carpets. Why does he point out that he speaks 8 languages? I guess just to make it interesting. Tapestries and carpets are all about the room. 1 tapestry is worth 500 gold pieces. He has very comfortable furniture. He wears a jeweled pendant worth 1,000 gold pieces and carries 6 platinum and 10 gold pieces in purse. And last, numbered area 27, the Castellan's Chamber. All right, here we go. This is not that big of an area, though. This portion of the fortress is 10 feet above the main roof and has battlements. Inside is the private room of the commander of the whole keep. It is lavishly furnished with a silver mirror worth 300 gold pieces on the wall, a malachite bowl worth 750 gold pieces on a table, and a fox robe worth 1,200 gold pieces in his armoire. He has a small silver case worth 450 gold pieces, which contains 40 platinum pieces and 12 gems worth 100 gold pieces each. There is a +1 spear on the wall by the door. Castellan, 6th level fighter, +2 to hit due to his high level, Dex 16, armor class -1, from +1 magic plate, +1 shield, and a +1 ring of protection. Hit points 48, +3 sword, +2 dagger, elven cloak and boots. He also carries a potion of flying and a potion of haste with him at all times. His chain of office is silver with gems worth 1,800 gold pieces, and he carries 10 each of platinum, gold, and electrum pieces. That's all. I would have more than that. Plus a gem worth 500 gold pieces. He is a very clever fellow, but at times he can be too hasty in his decisions. His bravery and honesty are absolute. If a guest asks him any question, he will do his best to answer, providing that it does not compromise the security of the keep. So that's the keep. That's a lot of stuff to keep track of. If a battle were to break out, you've got to have all of that information available, and I can't imagine doing that. We never got into things like that other than possibly guards arresting people. I think somebody got in trouble with guards once. I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago. But this is a very cool place that you could do a lot with. And I wonder how many people have done stuff with this. I'd love to hear your stories. And I will be back next time. And where are we going next? After this is the adventures outside the keep. And that is, it'll go right into the Caves of Chaos as well. So I'll be back some point. I hope you're enjoying this. And let me turn this down and we'll exit out with our outro music. As my cat meows.